All right, folks, I wanted to make a quick video here to show you a comparison between what the sun was doing back in 2010 versus what the sun is doing now in 2021, exactly 11 years ago. And you can bring up this data set yourself at the Space Weather Enthusiast dashboard. Here we're looking at March 2010. So you can see smoothed values there of the sunspot number progression. Average sunspot number on a monthly basis right there is 18.5. And for 2021, we have a predicted value figured in here at only 8.7. So we're seeing a little weaker activity, but let me show you some details about the levels of activity then and now, exactly 11 years apart. So here's some data from SOHO. This is the 195 angstroms view. And you may think you see some similarities there between the behavior. You can see some sunspotty looking regions there up in the northeast. And it looks like a setting sunspot, a pretty decent sized one down there in the southwest, over here by my pointer. But that couldn't be further from the case. I'll show you why. So here's the magnetic data. And the viewers of our regular daily space weather videos will be well aware that the sun's B field right now looks absolutely nothing like that. And for you new viewers out there, the B field here is the field shown in blue. This shows coronal holes in red and green. And you can see how much coronal hole Earth-facing surface area we have here, largely dominated by those red fields there. And this is what we see now. So completely different there, much earlier in the progression of the changing of the solar polar fields. So here's what the sun looks like now. And this is a different wavelength here. This is 193 angstroms. We were showing you 195 angstroms. This is the SDO imagery. And it's actually much, much different than it was back then. And I'm going to go rehash all the data here again, just to let this sink in. So here, once again, we're showing you the March 2010 Space Weather Enthusiast dashboard sunspot number progression graph. And you can see while it is at a pretty similar level here to where it is now in terms of sunspot progression, the magnetic field situation is completely different. So again, here's the sun exactly 11 years ago. And that's 195 angstroms. But more importantly, here are the fields. Next, back to the graph. Here is sunspot cycle 24. Predicted values are lower, but here's what the sun looked like in the past day. So there it is. This is a different wavelength. Once again, folks, this is 193 angstroms, not 195 angstroms, a different portion of the ultraviolet light spectrum. And here are the fields. You can see how vastly different those fields look, how much less coronal hole surface area we see. And you can see the way the B fields there, which are these blue fields in these areas, are completely not progressed at all into the field reversal process compared to where they were exactly 11 years ago. So there are the fields 11 years ago, and you can see they are well into the process of a field reversal, whereas now, not even slightly similar. So as the sun goes through each cycle, each sunspot cycle, the solar polar fields reverse. The north becomes the south, and the south becomes the north. And for one full cycle, we see 22 years of a progression to return back to the original fields. So you can see the red fields here are in the north now. Green fields are in the south. This is 11 years ago. And here's now green fields in the north. red fields in the south. Field progression, taking its good old time here. So this is pretty serious stuff, folks. And I just wanted to cite this. I pretty much stumbled upon the data accidentally because Facebook reminded me of something that happened 11 years ago. And strangely, exactly 11 years ago, I did a run of nearly the exact same length as I did today. Who would have expected it? I certainly didn't. And here's what the sun was doing then. And here's what the sun is doing now. So I just figured I would put that in, folks. I thought that was an interesting, completely different scenario going on between the sun and its magnetic fields now versus then. Again, there's then and here's now. So completely different magnetic environment there 11 years ago and today. And I figured our regular viewers would appreciate it. So see you next time. Don't forget to press like and subscribe if you enjoy the content here at Smash News Network, least busted name in news.